Welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew, and today we're working on this ATC 70 that has a Life N 110 motor installed on it. I didn't build any of this. This was all custom built for a guy. I just acquired this thing a couple months back, and it just needs a couple little things. This is cool, but we're gonna swap it out, make it a little more. I'm not worried about it looking original. It's just a little bit too done up for me. So, but today's project, whoever put together did a very nice job. It's just, like I said, it's a little too much for me. I'm gonna go back to a standard shifter. So I got this mostly, well, when I was younger, some of my family had one of these ATC 70s, and I had a Z50, which my original Z50 from when I was 5 years old is sitting there, and I still ride it every now and then. It's eventually going to need a motor rebuild, another motor rebuild. It probably has more miles on than my Dodge Cummins does, but my cousins had one of these when we were growing up, and we rode the dirt out of both of these two bikes. So my daughter's 3, and they're getting harder to find, and I found this one. So I snagged it up, and so this is just kind of, she likes to play with this when we're riding, and she's pulled it out of gear once or twice. So I want to go back to the foot control, and then the seat's really nice here, so we're leaving it on. But one of the thing we're working on today is, you can see, it looks like whatever plate used to be here is no longer here, and it looks like it was it had 4 bolts that went through here, and then I think it probably bolted to another plate and then came down to attach the front of the seat to the frame right here. 2 straps, 1 on each side. So we're pretty much gonna re-replicate that. It bolts in back here as well. Someone did this really nice kind of grab bar, and it used to have a seat belt on it. It was built for a paralyzed gentleman prior to my acquisition of it, hence the hand shifter and everything else. But like I said, super nice bike. I really like it, but I just want to kind of put it back to normal. But the seat's been held down with a cinch strap when I bought it, so that's the first thing I want to take care of, is get the seat back on there like it's supposed to be, with the bracket up front. The cinch strap didn't look very nice. It was this guy right here. I'm sure it was intended to be a temporary fix, but it was there like that on the foot peg. But here we are now, and now it's my project, so we're gonna fix the seat first. And I ordered a shifter to replace this. It's just your normal foot shifter, but it's currently lost somewhere in the garage. So if we come up with that, then we'll throw that on there too. But so I've already drawn out. These are the 2 straps that'll come down to go to the frame. This is going to be, these are going to weld to this, and then this will bolt to. This will be a replacement piece that goes in that big old hole in the bottom of the seat, right here. Well, it looks like the company that made this, I guess it's called Jet Trim, and it looks like they take I don't know if they take a factory seat, or they kind of make like their factory seat pan and then add to it, but they kind of tack weld their own panels in here to make these wings. So it's like an adult size seat, and it's really comfortable because I sit back here, and then my daughter has all this room here, so I want to keep this seat. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that bigger rectangular piece, tack it back on here where it looks like one was previously tacked, and then we're just going to run it back all the way to here, and we'll put the 4 holes in it, and then weld the head of the bolt on the inside to hold it, and then we'll just have the plate with 4 studs sticking out, and then we'll go from there. But yep. Looks like, I mean, it's an old bike. It looks like it had some, maybe a little bit of rust, but it's just old, brittle, beat up. You know, it's, I don't even know what year it is, but they quit making these a long time ago. Yeah, serial number is ATC 70-2006. ATC 70-2006-985. I don't know the serial number. I don't know the serial number dates. So if you're familiar with these and you do know what year this is, go ahead and throw it up there. I can't remember off the top of my head right now even what date range it is. If I said anything, it would just be ignorant, so I'm not going to. But it's an older bike. This is probably an older seat pan, so it's a little brittle. So it looks like this might eventually fail too. But when that happens, you know, then we'll worry about that. But for now, we're just gonna attach this. And I think this will help take a lot of the weight. Because with this knot here, you know, all of the strain to keep the seat in place is on these two studs. That ratchet strap just really holds the front down. So, let's do it. That's all of our pieces cut out. We got to drill a couple more holes in here, and this one, and then ready to start mocking it up. you know, a little wonky when they get hot, but all right. Set those down there. All right. You gotta go.
We're going for a walk. Bye.
Okay.
All right, so we got a little area wire wheeled out. Gotta do. All right, so we have our welding surfaces stripped of the paint, and now, as you can see here, we need to put a slight bend in this about right there to match the contour of the original metal here. So find our marker around where our bend is, right there. We're just gonna do a rough little bend on this. It's only 14 gauge, so hopefully it won't be too terribly hard to bend. Let's give ourselves a straight bend there. All right. Let's see. Try and bend it in this first. Toward the edge. Nope, that doesn't want to work. So, to the vise. All right, now we're at the vise. Let's try that. That looks pretty nice. So we'll end up just putting, a couple tacks in here, a couple tacks there, and then as many as we can get up along here. We don't want to start a fire with the seat foam, which there's a little bit of space back here from the seat foam, but up here you got that fabric and seat foam right up against it, so we just have to be careful there. But we're just about ready to start putting some welds on this thing. Do a little more cleanup on these previous tacks that snapped off. That'll do it. It's a good weld. Seat foam's not super happy, but get this other side over here and we'll call it good. One way to extinguish flames is to over-oxygenate. So if you have an air compressor or something on standby, you could just blow the flame out as well. Which I kind of just did with my mouth, but... Alright, that's a good solid bead through there. So let's go ahead and tack the other side in. Alright, so we're welding 14 gauge to some really like aluminum can or thinner. I mean, you can just tell how thin it is by how brittle it's become. But, you know, we burned through in a couple spots. It's not really even worth trying to patch those spots or fill them in, because you're just going to keep burning and burning. But we're going to try and run a bead down over here and then one on this side as well. But that's pretty much it. I mean, will it eventually wear out in here again? Yeah, sure, maybe. And when that happens, then we're gonna build another plate just like this that goes all the way back and grabs these bolts too. But this will probably last, I mean, this could last forever. But it's turned out pretty good. That's some really light metal there. We might even try and throw a couple welds down here. If you look right there, it's kind of worn itself out, and then over here too. So we'll see how long that lasts. But I think this is actually going to take on a lot of the weight now of the seat and the occupants. So we'll try and throw a couple little tack welds in here and right there just to help hold this together for a little bit longer. But yeah, these turned out pretty good. And so yeah, this being 14 gauge and this being some really light stuff, kind of start my pool on the 14 gauge and then just drip it down onto the lighter stuff. I've definitely done worse. Alright, so I just filled in two pretty good holes I had, but so we got it set on 22 gauge. We got that hole there. I'm going to try and fill that. And as you can see over here, there's just so much metal fatigue. It's so brittle. That's kind of why you want to fix this stuff earlier than later. Like over here, there was a huge crack that went along here. I was able to kind of, you know, turn those two pieces of metal into one-ish. But then it just like started turning into chasing brittle holes there. So you can see the stuff gets really thin between the rust and the metal fatigue. So, but I think I can fill that one there just for the practice. That there, I'll give it a shot, but that's so thin. I really think I'm just gonna, you know, it's not gonna be any better than it is now. But we'll do it for the practice. Alright, so that's what we got out of that one. I really don't even think I'm going to get, but, you know, I'm not going to get anything out of that. But whatever, I'll give it a shot. Alright, good practice. It's not pretty, but it's filled in. We're gonna have to open up this door. Probably set this thing outside. Maybe hit it with the hose a little bit just to make sure nothing inside's burning, make sure an ember didn't get into the foam. But I'm not gonna keep messing with it. Where it's at now is where it's gonna stay. Got a decent bead run up here. That thing is on there. Might be the most solid thing on the seat right now. But yeah, let's take it outside, douse it with some water. And then we'll probably just leave it sit out on the driveway overnight. Just to make sure it don't burn my house down over a ATC 70 seat. Alright, well that's all for today. So we'll bring it back out tomorrow and finish it up. But pretty cool little three-wheeler. Thing's got a lot of power with that Life in 110 on it. Anyway, see you tomorrow. We're gonna put a bolt in the gas tank so it doesn't move as much anymore. And then I'm building a bracket to hold the seat on stronger.
Oh, what?
It was held on with a cinch strap before.
Oh, is the computer there?
Yeah, the computer's going too.
What's that thing?
Hold on. So what do you think? Is it coming together pretty nicely? We gotta find your shifter. Alright, so we just tack welded them in place, but as you can see, that hole lines up pretty much perfect. And then on this side, a little bit, maybe push it back a little bit, but there's some adjustability, so I think we're ready to burn them in. That ought to do it. Let that cool, clean it up, throw some paint on it, and get this seat mounted up. I got these old cheap Chinese cube lights I've been running on this winch fair lead for I don't know how many years, like 7 years or something. They still work, so we're gonna see about throwing a bracket together and putting these on the front forks. There's no light up there right now, and it doesn't really need light, but it'd be nice. The wiring's there. You got a coat of paint on the front seat bracket, and I figured while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll see about putting these lights on the front. All right, we'll let that cool down a little bit, and then while that's cooling, we'll continue on with this seat install. All right, that's on there. Not going anywhere. I decided and found these, which have the two different types of LEDs, so it's a spot and a flood beam, and they take a different bracket. So what we're gonna end up doing is re-drilling some holes on here. Thanks for tuning in. This was a fun little project. I was playing around with some slow-mo and some B-roll kind of stuff, so check it out. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Give me some comments down below, and hit that subscribe button. This was a fun little ATC 70, couple repairs, a couple more things need done. I've got another rear axle to put in this thing because it's all bent up. A buddy of mine and I put a dial indicator to it, and it and the left side wheel on the rear are pretty bent up, and we straightened them as best we could. But got a new axle for the back, and we're gonna end up getting new wheels for this thing and tires eventually, but that'll be in a future video, so stay tuned. Obviously my daughter loves riding around on this thing. I just can't wait until we can get out of this neighborhood and really you know, give her some adventure on these motorcycles like I had when I was growing up. So like I said, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button below and keep following along. Thanks for watching.